31. Now I'm going to read, I just want to touch on some things that mothers do to honor mothers here. Psalms 31, I'm going to read verses 10 through 31, or 10 through the rest of the chapter. I put 31 within 31. It says, that ain't what I had this morning.
That's it.
Proverbs 31.
Proverbs 10 through 31.
When you find a good woman, guys, hold on to her.
Amen.
Amen? Don't take a woman for granted.
Did you go to Proverbs 10?
Proverbs 31st chapter says, I'm going to start at verse 10. It says, who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? The heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh woolen with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships, and bring her food from afar. She rises also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth the field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with her strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good, her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretched out her hand to the poor, yea, she reaches forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry, her clothing is silk and purple. When her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land, she maketh fine linen, and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up, and call her blessed, and her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. A lot of good stuff there that we can talk about, okay? But there's three things there, and I'm trying to wrap this up. But there's three things there that I want to report. Her hands work, her mouth speaks, and her heart loves. Us dads, we take pride in going out and saying, well, I did my fatherly duties. I put bread on the table. I put food on the table, okay? You mamas that are stay-home mamas, you know, my wife, she stayed home for a lot of years. She stayed home the whole time until recently, and she got a part-time job. But I'm so thankful that we did a lot. We did without a lot of nice things, a lot of things that we didn't do, couldn't have, couldn't acquire, because we chose to be one income home. But I'm so glad that she did. And she works hard. Raising kids ain't easy, folks. Raising kids is not easy. On top of that, you're raising the kids, but you're dealing with the dad who wants to undermine everything. Amen?
Number one kid.
Number one kid.
Yeah.
But she says here that her hands work, and I love the 10th verse. It says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Verses 13, 19, 22, and I'm paraphrasing here, but she selects wool and works with eager hands. Verse 14, she shops, bringeth her food from afar. Verse 15, she cooks. She provides food for her family. Verse 16, she plants a vineyard. She gardens. Our text also says in verse 15, it says, she get up while it's still dark. Read verse 15. She rises also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. Verse 16, she gardens. She plants a vineyard. I read that one. It says book out. Verse 18, she perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. Mama's work, daddy's work is go home, hit the time clock, and pretty much done. But a mama's work is never done. Amen? So remember that, guys. Dads, remember that. And us dads need to pay a little more attention to our wives and honor our wives. Her mouth speaks. Catch verse 26. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Her heart loves. Verse 11 and 12. The heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. He will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. A grandmother was telling a story. This is the story of a grandmother. She was telling her granddaughter good night when the little girl said, Mommy and Daddy are entertaining some very important people downstairs. You're right, Grandma agreed. But how did you know? Well, just listen, the little granddaughter said. Mommy is laughing at all of Daddy's jokes. My wife don't laugh at my jokes. That's why I laugh at my own. But wrap it up with this, guys. All right, another story that just goes to show what mothers are. The teacher at school put this question to little James in math class. James, suppose your mother made a cherry pie, and there was 10 of you at the table, your mother and father and 8 children. How much of the pie would you get? A ninth, is his answer. No, James. Now pay attention. There are 10 of you in the home. Don't you know your fractions? Yes, ma'am, he replied. I know my fractions. I know them pretty well. But I know my mother even better. And she'd say that she didn't want any pie. The unselfishness of a mother shows a heart of love for her family. And guys, we need to honor that. Mothers are this. Mothers are blowers of noses and washers of ears, smoothers of bump spots and wipers of tears, scrubbers of dishes and wielders of mops, grandmas for dollies and winders of tops, bathers of babies and umpires of spats, finders of rubbers, mittens, and hats, helpers with lessons and makers of beds, shakers of dust cloths and combers of head, button sewer owners and winders of clocks, members of dresses and darners of socks, tellers of stories and readers of books, judges and juries on conduct and looks, doctors for heartaches and hearers of prayers, generals directing all family affairs, tenders of home fires and builders of men, oh, for the gift of an adequate pen. So there's no adequate pen, nor adequate words to express how much we are moms, for their hard works, for the good works, and for their loving deeds. Amen? Amen. From the bottom of my heart, God bless all you mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. Love you all. Now to sing a song, kids.